Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about what you should do for your Distinguished Young Women's Program Talent if you don't already have one. So this is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time because I feel like the number one reason girls choose not to participate, other than, stage fright or things like that, are they say something like, I would really love to, but I don't have a talent. And so then they miss out on the incredible opportunity of the entire program because of that one 90-second on stage piece. So I just want to share with you why you should not use that as an excuse not to participate. So before I hop into that, you may be wondering a little bit about me. If you just stumble onto this video, who am I to tell you what to do for your talent? So my name is Cassie. I won my local Distinguished Young Women's program back in 2008. Back then it was called Junior Miss. After that, I took a couple years off, came back and started working with my local program, worked my way from choreographer up to co-chair of a local program, and I now sit on the state committee for the state of Utah. So I have taken part in many different versions of the program from different sides, and I've seen a lot of different talent. I also judge frequently in the DYW program, so I have seen a lot of talents as well and judge them accordingly. So that is a little bit of my background. So like I said, this is like the number two reason why I see girls not compete. And let me tell you why this should not hold you back from competing. So I know some of you out there may be super competitive, and if you're like, if I don't have a solid talent, then I'm not gonna get first place, and if I'm not gonna get first place, I don't wanna do it. Well, let me tell you, as I mentioned, won my local program, and my talent was not that strong. So I was a gymnast for many years turned cheerleader, and I choreographed a dance routine for my talent. So it was nothing technical. I had no real dance training. It was just kind of a cheery dance. And I ended up winning my local program because of the way the judging is all broken up. If you are pretty even throughout all the events, if you do well in interview, you do well in fitness, you do well enough in your talent and self-expression, you can really ride it all the way into, a potential top 3 and potentially come out winning the program depending on your program. Don't feel like you have to win the talent portion to win the program, because based on my experience, that is not true. And number 2, you should not let the talent portion hold you back from competing, because it is so much more than who wins. It is all about the experience. I've been involved in this program for over 10 years, and it is such a growth opportunity for the girls that participate, even the ones that come away winning no awards. I have seen such major improvement in just self-confidence, in understanding yourself and your beliefs, understanding your goals and where you want to go in your life, and growing those interview skills and interpersonal skills and gaining friendships. I know you've heard this from anyone who talks to you about the program, but it really is such an incredible growth opportunity for you. And don't let the fact that you don't sing, dance, or play an instrument hold you back from all the other things that you can gain. So, okay, now that you have that spiel, let's jump into what you can do for your talent. So as I mentioned, singing, dancing, and a musical instrument are the most common things that you will see performed as a talent. But if you haven't been training in those for years and years, fear not, we have other options. So the first one I'm going to mention, I saw this for the first time when I competed at the state level, and that is a foreign language. So if you are someone who maybe you speak a different language at home than at school, maybe you speak multiple languages. I've seen this done, of course, people think of American Sign Language, signing maybe along to a song. That is a great option. The girl that I saw use this as her talent, she spoke 3 languages. So what she did was she recited a poem, but each section of the poem, she switched languages. So she did, I think, the first part in Russian, the second part in, another language, I forget which. And then the third part, she ended with like the strong send it home line in English. And I think that was important because most of your audience is going to speak English, so you'll know that, you know, the speech is over and by ending in English. But yeah, so she did a whole speech in 3 different languages, and that was her talent. Next up, we have poetry or spoken word. If you are someone who enjoys writing poetry, if you're someone who enjoys reading poetry, this is a great option. I have seen some really strong performances in this, specifically in the spoken word category. So if that is something, maybe you've never done it before, maybe it's something that's just kind of interesting to you, maybe you like watching spoken word videos on YouTube or going to spoken word events, this can be a really strong talent if you do it well. Of course, there's many different ways to do monologues, which we can get into, but spoken word is such a specific talent and skill with the delivery and your cadence. And the strongest spoken word I have seen was actually written by the contestant, which you cannot judge it on the fact that it was by the contestant, but it happened to touch on some things that we talked about in her interview prior. And so then that talent and watching her express herself and share more of the story, it was a really powerful message. So if you are interested in poetry or spoken word, another great talent idea. Okay, so I mentioned that I was a gymnast and a cheerleader, but not a trained dancer, but I use dance as my talent. Well, if you are someone who also has no training really in dance, but maybe it's something that you enjoy and you can, you know, stomp to the beat of the music, something that you can do is a line dance. So don't think this is only country western, although that is a very cute route to take. There's a lot of costume ideas that you can do with that. It's, again, 60 to 90 seconds is not a long time. So you could do, well, I guess the watermelon crawl is not necessarily the cleanest DYW approved song, but you know what I mean. Some sort of country line dance like that could be really fun in your cowgirl boots, but there's also other line dances. I've seen it done to Hey Mickey. There's a line dance to Hey Mickey. There is the Hannah Montana Hoedown Throwdown. So if you've seen the Hannah Montana movie, they've got the Hoedown Throwdown, and that is such a cute talent that you could also do. It's easy enough to learn. There's plenty of videos on the internet to teach you any one of these line dances, so you can easily learn it from YouTube and perform it as your talent. But this is a nice, easy talent that you can do and be really confident performing. Okay, so we touched on monologues before, but let me tell you, there are so many ways you can take a monologue. So if you are someone who perhaps you enjoy watching Broadway plays, but you aren't usually the one performing, you can take a portion of that play, turn it into a monologue. I've seen that done many times with Wicked, things like that. Popular from Wicked is one of the most popular that I have seen, and I love it. It is so much fun, especially if you play up the Galinda role. But that's not the only thing you can do for a monologue. So monologue is basically storytelling, and you can tell a story about anything. So if you are someone who has another talent that is not something you can necessarily do on stage, a great option is to tell a story about that talent, or use your monologue to share your love of that thing. So it could be cooking or painting or photography. I saw someone who really loved to cook, and so what she did is she came out with the apron and the chef's hat on, and she had written a poem about her love of cooking. So you can really bring that in any way. With painting and photography, it is difficult because we can't judge a photo if you hang a photo next to you, but what you could do is you could take a photo, have it on stage with you, and then tell us a story of that photo. Maybe why it's important, what it means, and what your process was when you took the photo. You could do the same thing with a painting. Explain the techniques that you used and maybe critique a work of art if that is something that you're passionate about. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into how you can use another skill that you can't do on stage and turn it into a storytelling monologue. So along those same lines, maybe you have an athletic skill that you are not able to show on stage. Something that you can do is do a modified routine of sorts. I think this is most commonly seen with gymnasts. So gymnastics is obviously, I'm biased because I did it, but it's a beautiful thing to watch. And so I've seen many girls take their gymnastics. Obviously you can't do a full run on most of the stages that we're performing DYW programs on, but you can do modified versions of your routines. But beyond just gymnastics, I've seen this done with basketball, where they set up a bunch of different little hoops and they showed us trick shots. And that was so much fun. They had, I think, like Space Jam playing in the background. And so they were showing us different dribbling tricks and different trick shots. And it was a really fun routine to watch. You could do the same, with soccer. Probably couldn't do softball, that might get a little dangerous, but there's all kinds of things that you can do. If you have another sport that you're passionate about, try and find a way to turn it into your talent. I'm sure there's a way that you could modify it. Something that could be used as a talent that I think is underused, honestly, is joke telling. If you think about stand-up comedians, they are standing on a stage delivering jokes, and that is a talent. So if you are someone who loves to keep people laughing, if you can deliver jokes well and make sure, of course, to keep it clean, this could be a great opportunity to use it as your talent. Kind of along the same lines of telling jokes is magic tricks. This is something that is great for a talent because it's fun for the audience, it's fun for the judges. If you think of a magician, they're often up on a stage performing for an audience, and that's what you'll be doing for 60 to 90 seconds. So if you are someone who enjoys magic, maybe you know a couple tricks already, definitely make sure that they're ones that you are able to play to a larger audience, and I think that can make a really fun talent. So last but not least, if you still have not heard anything on this list that really speaks to you, it's nothing that you're really interested in, then let's think about this. Is there a new skill that's on your bucket list that you've never learned but you wanted to learn? It could be the languages like we talked about at the beginning, or it could be martial arts, or it could be, anything under the sun. If there's a skill that you've been wanting to learn but you haven't learned it yet, this is a perfect opportunity to learn a new skill, and then you can perform that as your talent. That also makes it really fun when it gets brought up in your interview to tell me about your talent. You can say, hey, this is something that I've been spent the last 6 months learning about and I'm so passionate about. This is what I've learned, and it gives you a great story to tell. It really shows that you have interest and range and that you are passionate about being a lifelong learner, which is a great thing to share with the judges. So a couple of things like this that I have seen, again, I mentioned the martial arts, speed painting or speed drawing. If you have not seen this, look it up. It is incredible. They'll just like throw paint on a canvas. You have no idea where it's going, and then all of a sudden they like turn it around, and it's this beautiful painting that they did in like no time at all. So if you want to learn how to speed paint, that would be an awesome talent. And an instrument, of course, if you wanted to learn an instrument, now is a great time. A language. And another, I will have to show a picture of this because you may not have seen it before, but we had a gal who was kind of in a similar situation that needed a talent, and she learned how to spin poi, which like I said, I will put up a picture because I don't even know how to explain it, but it's basically like these things that you hold and there's light on the ends, and you just like spin them around. And it seems so simple, but there's all kinds of tricks, and it looks really cool, especially in a darkened auditorium. This is another opportunity of something you could do for your talent. You do a similar thing with like rhythmic gymnastics with like the ribbons and things like that. So whatever it is, whatever is on your bucket list that you haven't learned yet, learn it now and use it for your Distinguished Young Women's Program talent. I hope this helped. I hope you got some new ideas. If you did, I would love, love, love to hear down in the comments down below what talent you're going to be doing for your Distinguished Young Women's Program. I wish you all the best. I'm so excited for you to compete in this program. It is, honestly, if I have not said it already, it is the best program, and I just love being a part of it. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to learn so much. You're going to grow so much. And remember, don't let not having the best talent in the room hold you back from this incredible opportunity. Just try anything on this list, find something you love, and share it with the audience and with the judges. So I think that's all I have for you today. If you just found this video, I do have a couple other videos on the Distinguished Young Women's Program as far as what judges are looking for, what to wear for your interview, and I will be sure to link those down below if you are interested. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.